Once you understand the dynamics of depersonalization and clear your mind, it's essential to maintain a healthy way of living to prevent further interruptions in the future. One of the ways to achieve this is through good diet and nutrition choices. Food choices can make or break anxiety reactions and add or subtract to feelings of depersonalization. This is why it's so important to take the time to choose foods that will work for you rather than against you. There are ways to feel alert and clear-headed without caffeine, which only overstimulates and adds to feelings of anxiety and depersonalization. Your goal here is to feel awake, alert, without the cobwebs, and certainly without the anxious reactions such as racing heart and accelerated body. And so a calmer, tension-reduced state of mind and body is important for recovery and prevention. This supports an environment less conducive to depersonalization and derealization. Did you know that many foods you eat actually produce feelings of drowsiness? This is fine if you're struggling with insomnia, but during the day you might want to feel more alert, yet not racy. Because of the fact that depersonalization produces the fuzzy, dreamlike sensations, you might want to avoid an overabundance of carbohydrates in your diet, especially alone. When combined with good lean protein, the protein buffers the action of the carbohydrate. We don't recommend the elimination of carbohydrates or any other food group, especially the whole grain complex carbohydrates, such as chewy breads and whole grain cereals, but we recommend you eat them in combination with proteins during the daytime when you're looking to increase your energy and revive the mind without overstimulating it. Too many carbohydrates alone during the day will promptly put you back to sleep, and sleepy sensations are what you're looking to avoid. Have you ever had pancakes in the morning? Not only are you hungry an hour later, but you're ready to go back to bed. The combination of white flour and maple syrup with all that sugar in it is enough to make a person extremely sleepy. And this isn't helpful for a person who's experiencing depersonalization and that woozy feeling. All that sugar also stimulates anxiety reactions and causes the worry cycle to begin again. And in order to recover from depersonalization, you need to cut off constant worry. It's exhausting to the mind, and a tired mind supports depersonalization. It's time to learn how to make your foods work for you rather than against you with depersonalization. Simple carbohydrates such as candy, cakes, sodas, and cookies are to be strictly avoided at this time in particular. You don't need this extra sugar. You feel wonderful when first eating these foods and then 10 times worse in about a half an hour. Your blood sugar shoots up initially and then drops you on your head in a little while. This leaves you feeling tense, woozy, and irritable. This is absolutely not your goal. You want to avoid anything at this time which would add to feelings of haziness. When I was struggling with depersonalization, I was highly reactive to simple sugars, just as many others complain, even white flour products such as breads and pastas. One slice of pizza and I was overwhelmingly tired, and this merely added to the cobwebs in my mind, which made me anxious on top of it. This may have tasted great at the moment, but the effects were not worth it for me. I couldn't shake the fuzzy feelings in my head and felt extremely sleepy for hours after eating these foods. It made me irritable too. These type of foods only exacerbate feelings of depersonalization and therefore are best to avoid or eat in moderation at this time, or combine with proteins to buffer their actions. The general rule here is to have a lean protein with every meal and snack during the daytime. This will keep energy levels up without adding nerved up feelings to the mix. I think it's really exciting that you can use your foods to work for you. Everyone is so often eager to reach for medications when foods can do the same exact thing and they're wholesome and natural. I don't even believe there's a choice in the matter anymore. Why reach for a chemical when a whole food can do the same exact thing? Natural over chemical has always been my choice. It alleviates adverse reactions, withdrawal symptoms, and it's less costly. It's readily available. And in the long run, it promotes a healthier body, and that's what's most important. Okay, there might be times when you find yourself craving pasta, so don't punish yourself. This is not what this is all about. We all love these foods, pasta, pizza, maybe a sweet dessert once in a while, as long as your depersonalization is on the mend. But if you find yourself highly reactive and very much into the depersonalization, I truly recommend you avoid these foods for a swifter recovery. If you do have a strong craving and you're doing a little better, balance this carbohydrate with a lean protein if you must have it. Have a lean protein along with the pasta, such as lean poultry or fish or even a small piece of meat. If you're having a sweet dessert, if you must have it, have a protein such as cheese or milk along with it. It'll buffer it. Have an extra protein topping on the pizza, although the cheese does help. Also, portion size helps too. A mountain of spaghetti may taste wonderful, but it is not going to help you with your depersonalization, so make choices. If you enjoy any type of noodles with your dinner, that's fine, but you may want to shift to a smaller portion and increase your veggies, main protein, and salad. It's shifting and compensating with other foods. You're never left hungry. You're just selecting foods that are better for you and eating more of those and less of the ones that don't work for you. By slowly making these changes, you adjust quickly. It's interesting how fast your body does adjust to eating better foods that will work for you. You might even find yourself craving the better foods because your body does begin to crave foods that work for it. It's not that difficult to change the way you eat. In fact, it can be quite interesting when you start doing this. You'll find you feel better, have more energy, good energy, and you'll feel far less sluggish. Just remember to never eliminate any food group completely from your diet. Any of these fad diets that boast elimination of specific food groups are not healthy. They are to be avoided at all costs. We need all these food groups in our diet. We need proteins, carbohydrates, good fats, and fiber. They are essential to good health. Speaking of fiber, choose yams or sweet potatoes over white potatoes when given the choice. White potatoes are high on the glycemic index, which means they are higher in sugar. Yams and sweet potatoes, even though they taste sweeter than the white potatoes, are higher in fiber, which means they take longer to digest. This will keep your blood sugar levels balanced longer, which means you'll feel calmer longer and satiated for a longer period of time as well. I've included the glycemic index along with the depersonalization diet, and you will be able to readily access the foods you eat and see which ones score higher or low on the chart. Always select the foods that have a lower rating. The higher the rating, the more sugar they contain, and that can spell trouble for someone recovering from depersonalization. Here's another food tip. Always shop the outer peripheral of your supermarket. You'll notice this is where all the fresh, whole foods are stocked. These are the foods you want to purchase. The fruits, vegetables, produce, meats, poultry, fish, nuts, seeds, and dairy. Select fruits that are not overly sweet. Choose strawberries, cantaloupes, blueberries, raspberries. Most berries fit the bill. You'll still fill your sweet tooth, but without that lazy, boggy sensation that candy provides. When you're feeling more like yourself again and crave a small piece of candy, always have it after a meal. This goes with all desserts. Protein that you have with your meal buffers. You won't get the same sugar hit as if you ate this sweet alone. Another interesting fact, if you must have candy, choose the ones with nuts in it because they're protein, and this prevents the sugar surge, and it allows blood sugar levels to remain stabilized. You see, there are ways you can have your cake and eat it too. You can still have what you want, but balance it at the same time. I wouldn't recommend candy at this time, though, not until the veil of depersonalization has lifted. You have other choices, too. Even soups with noodles, which are carbohydrates, can be replaced with vegetable soups. These soups offer nutrition coupled with good taste. They are rich in vitamins and energizing at the same time. Fruit is energizing as well because it digests quickly. This is the healthy sweet, delicious and rich in vitamins. You'll never feel drained after eating a sweet piece of fruit, and you'll never experience the hyper feeling you might feel with candies, cakes, or sodas. The only fruits to avoid at this time are dried fruits, such as raisins, dried plums, or dried apricots, which are much too high in sugar and may be too stimulating for you. Remember, there's a fine line here. Sodas have a double problem: caffeine in some sodas and sugar. There is often 8 teaspoons of sugar in most sodas. This is not a path you want to follow at this time, and probably not ever. There are some good natural alternatives. For instance, there are delicious caffeine-free herbal teas you might want to try. Chamomile is a favorite of mine. It's relaxing yet never zones me out. It has a flowery scent and delicious flavor. Try experimenting with herbal teas. You might find them a helpful and flavorful addition to your day. Your main problem, which fueled the depersonalization, was your propensity to worry. This is why it's essential to maintain a calm body with less opportunity to fall prey to this habit. In order to break the worry habit, you want to avoid any food or product that is overstimulating. These include caffeine, nicotine, excess sugar, and any cold or over-the-counter antihistamine preparations that might lead to shaky feelings. Many actually believe cigarettes calm them, but the truth of the matter is, nicotine found in cigarettes is a stimulant. This leads to anxious sensations. The idea of breathing in when you smoke, holding the breath, and exhaling is the only calming part, and you can easily do this breathing technique without the cigarette. It may sound a little tricky here. You do want to break through the fuzzy feelings, the dreamlike state, but you do not want an overstimulated body because this lends itself to worried feelings and thoughts. Therefore, you want to limit starchy carbohydrates, simple sugars, and too many foods high on the glycemic index, the foods that are too high in sugar, which break down to sugar in the body, such as white potatoes and white flour products. Your body reactions will be your best guide of all. This is because your body will let you know when it has had too many carbohydrates by exhibiting sleepy sensations and clouding of the mind even further. Specific foods in this category that might add to depersonalization symptoms are any foods that are refined or processed, such as instant anything, rice, potatoes, cereals, white bread, plain pasta rather than whole grain. These are all carbohydrates that are not naturally collected. More man-made categories. The carbs that are more acceptable are whole grains in moderation. Beans are excellent. Fresh vegetables, peas and yams, for example, are also great. We all love bagels, but believe it or not, bagels have more carbohydrates than you can imagine, especially the ones made with white flour. They are equal to 3 slices of cake as far as carbohydrates go. They will only add to feelings of sluggishness. If you find yourself faced with a choice, select the whole grain variety and scoop the center out. Still tastes good, and you'll prevent the glycemic high by doing so. Sometimes we are able to compromise and work with the foods we love. Although we advocate good lean proteins, we also suggest you watch portion size, as you don't want to overdo on giant chops and meats and steaks. These meats actually take up to 30 hours to digest, which could add stress to the system. Whole grains, on the other hand, only take about a half or quarter of that time. Fruits for only 30 minutes to an hour. The faster the digestion, the less stress to your body. Chicken and fish are always the first protein choice as far as complete proteins go. Meats too often contain antibiotics and adrenaline, therefore not always the number one choice. Beans and whole grain rice combination add up to a complete protein, as does low-fat dairy. Remember, a protein with every meal and snack helps tremendously. This helps maintain feelings of stability all day long. Many people love yogurt, but unfortunately, the sweetened type defeats the purpose. If you prefer a sweeter flavoring, opt for fresh fruit and mix it with plain yogurt. Never use artificial sweeteners, as they contain no nutritional value at all, and they are made with chemicals that are more detrimental to your health than not. Always choose natural over chemical when given the choice. Soy products are good proteins too. Many people love soy milk, others not as much. Give it a try, see if you like it. If you find it's not to your liking, you might want to try soybeans and nuts. They're delicious and a great way to get some soy protein into your diet. A snack of soy nuts or beans or any other protein will help you maintain a clear mind and energize without overstimulating. As far as fats go, I still recommend butter over margarine since it's all natural. Natural is the best way when given any choice. Just use it in moderation because it's still a fat. In order to keep your mind clear and yet calm, it's important to take frequent smaller meals during your day. 5 small meals instead of 3 larger ones is best. This stabilizes and maintains good blood sugar levels. Don't fall prey to protein bars for snacks, since the majority are sugary candy bars in disguise. Instead, try nut butters, seeds, nuts, whole grain crackers with natural peanut butter. This is a good combination of a good carbohydrate and a protein. It will keep you calm, yet not overly calm or sleepy, and it will provide you with energy at the same time. Rye bread is one of my favorites and also a good choice. Less chance of inducing wooziness when eaten with a protein. Grill with cheese and tomato for a great snack. Low-fat cheeses and dips and spreads with celery are also delicious during the day. Carrots are a little higher on the glycemic index than celery and therefore may increase blood sugar levels a bit. This is why celery or other raw vegetables are a better choice. Again, these foods will put you in a more energized state, yet not overstimulated. Also, watch your salt usage. You may want to lower this because it contributes to anxiety symptoms. Too much salt intake holds water in the brain, which adds to feelings of depersonalization. Cutting back on salt is a healthier choice. These are just a few tips for using foods to overcome depersonalization. Read through the depersonalization diet we included with this program. The information is thorough and the 7-day menu will guide you to good choices. It's always a choice and it's up to you to use what works for you rather than against you. Listen to your body and you'll never go wrong.